Please welcome Fasility.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Chris Lowry. I'm a web designer with Fasility, and Fasility is a studio that encourages people to use Web VR and Web XR. And most everybody here has experienced virtual reality, augmented reality in some way, but you may not know that a lot of what VR and AR does can actually move over the web these days, thanks to work from Google and Mozilla and a lot of dedicated people. There are libraries that make it possible. So we have worked with schools as well as artists and educational institutions to provide them with some kind of pipeline so that they can augment the websites that they already have with web, AR, and XR content. Virtual and augmented reality over the web where your clients can reach it, and it works today. The tech that we're seeing tonight, the tech that we see every day in VR and AR, it gives us a glimpse of the future, and that may be through a headset, it may be through a downloaded application, but the web is actually capable of delivering a lot of these experiences to those same headsets, through those same applications. So 3.js and A-Frame let AR and VR run in a normal web browser on your phone. Oh, sure. All right. So what I'm saying is that the AR and the VR that you have, you think that it can only run on a Vive or a desktop or an application or an app on your phone. It's not true. The web can deliver these things for you. And it's not a new application, a new browser that you have to install. There are polyfills. There are systems that let the XR that you like come over to the web browsers that you have today. I can send you a link and something can open up on your phone and be gloriously virtual reality. Just this, looking at it, browsing in, what I call a smartphone portrait mode. This is a valid user interface mode. A lot of people will never use a headset because it's weird. They're not going to put glasses on their face because it's weird, but they will use a phone the way they're used to using it. And you can use user interface and user experience and the right buttons and the right responsiveness to give them an amazing experience through the web. So it has been the case that AR was not part of this game, that you couldn't have access to the camera if you were a website. Thanks to iOS 11 this past spring and fall, that's changed. And so now there are applications that will let you give someone a VR experience and an augmented reality experience in the applications that, on the platforms that they already have. So I'm going to show this to you in the form of an augmented reality viewer from Mozilla, and I'm looking down at a little cube, and there's another red cube in front of me, and that means that, oh, here it is. Okay, so there's an enormous human heart in front of me, and this human heart is being registered with ARKit from Apple. It knows where the floor is, it knows where you, the audience, are, it knows the scale of the building, and it is setting this explorable model right here in front of me. So let me dismiss this. Sorry, this is so awkward, but I got this demo working this morning, and it actually works. So this is a browser from Mozilla called the WebXR Viewer, and with it I was able to use web technologies to put together this demo with the GLTF, as Mike was talking about, is a standard transfer format for 3D information, and it works along with the standard Utah teapot, which has been in 3D graphics since the late 1970s. This is kind of a hello world of WebXR, and it's free from Mozilla, and it works on any phone, any iOS phone, that is, and hopefully Android is soon to follow. So what we're talking about is tremendous ability and a very short amount of development time. You don't have to have Xcode. You don't have to have a Java toolchain. You have to have the same web development technologies that your web team already has. We know how to do this. We've been doing it for people for over a year and a half. It's shocking what can be done. And yes, there are enormous challenges in user interface, but it's happening now. And we're happy to talk with you about it. So I'll take your questions. Shoot.
So I can see how you would get the AR functionality just on your phone screen.
Yes.
But you mentioned also getting VR on that. And I was
yes.
How that would work.
The way that WebVR works right now, it's designed to work with Oculus, Sorry. WebVR currently, thanks to the A-Frame Foundation, works with Oculus and Vive and tablets and the phones that everybody has, which means that you can take this WebVR content and make it work in a headset or make it work in the smartphone, portrait mode that I was talking about. So there are a lot of people who have built amazing VR experiences for the web who have now moved over to using A-Frame, not because they need something to make it easier for them to program the worlds that they do, but because they need a compatibility layer. It's become like a Windows or like a Squarespace of VR, and it's free, and it's extremely high quality. It's in its 8th revision, and it's from Mozilla. It's called A-Frame. So the compatibility is probably the sweetest part of this picture. If you write your JavaScript application correctly once, you can deploy it on all platforms at the same time without having to deal with Steam, without having to deal with the App Store or the Google Play Store. It just works. And now there are huge challenges in user experience. Everything is a bit different if you're on a Vive, bit different on Oculus, bit different if you have 6 degrees of freedom controls, or if you don't, or if you just have a clicker on your headset. Maybe you don't even have a clicker on your headset. Maybe you're just pointing and tapping at things on your screen, but it works. It can be made to work. This is a huge compatibility evolution on top of all of the things that the web has already done to make things universal, to make things non-single platform based, to make things accessible. And VR needs a huge boost in accessibility, and it needs a huge boost in availability. And A-Frame and Three.js are doing it today. And Mike talked a lot about this. There are huge advantages toward going mobile, toward going to the web, making whatever experience that you have something that everybody can see. Maybe you still need an app. Maybe you still need a Vive for the full experience, but for goodness sakes, you can deploy a ton over a phone. You all should know that, and I'm happy to tell anybody more about it. More questions? Sir. I think we're done. Thanks, everybody.